Most animals just kind of live their lives without giving much thought to the tools around them. But not otters. They use rocks to crack open clams. They use sticks to fish for bugs. And they even use sponges to carry their prey. But why? Why are they nature's playful engineers? Hi, and welcome to this channel. When it comes to intelligence, we tend to think of animals in terms of consciousness or self-awareness. Like, can they recognize themselves in a mirror? Can they plan for the future? These are good questions, but in some ways, it might be more useful to think about animal intelligence as just that, intelligence. Like how problem-solving intelligence or ecological intelligence, like how do they use their environment to get what they need? And it turns out that otters have evolved multiple types of intelligence to help them survive. First off, otters are using tools. Now, tool use is generally pretty rare in the animal kingdom. There are examples of other animals using tools, like primates using sticks to fish for termites, or crows using sticks to extract water from a container. But most animals don't use tools. So what makes otters different? Well, according to one idea, it helps to be living both on land and in water might present some unique challenges. For example, let's say you're an otter and you want to go swimming. If you're carrying a rock in your mouth, you're probably gonna sink like a stone. So maybe carrying a rock isn't the best idea. But if you had something like a sponge, which would float, well, that would be better. And that's exactly what sea otters do. They grab onto a floating piece of kelp or a bunch of seagrass and use it as a handle to hold their rock, so they can crack open shellfish. Basically, they figured out that by using a rock and a plant, they could get the benefits of both. The rock to crack their prey and the plant to keep it all together and keep them afloat. But holding things in general is tricky business. You need to figure out where to hold it, how to hold it, and when to let go of it. Researchers studying sea otters noticed that they seem to prefer holding things with their right hand. In fact, the shape of their right paw seems to be more suited for gripping things than their left. And they figured out that they can use their tail to help them hold things too, freeing up their paws. Basically, over millions of years, otters have evolved a bunch of different techniques to make holding things easier. Which, hey, humans do that too. We use our thumbs and opposable thumbs to grip things, to hold things steady, and to release things at just the right moment. In fact, our hands work a lot like otter hands. And this probably isn't a coincidence. Even though we didn't evolve from otters, we seem to have independently evolved similar solutions to similar problems. That's the power of natural selection. You start with a basic body plan and then you select for traits that make survival and reproduction more likely. So yeah, otters might not be using iPhones anytime soon, but they are using tools, which is kind of like using technology. Otters also display something called active tool use. This is when an animal selects a particular item from its environment to use as a tool, like grabbing a stick that's just the right length to fish out a tasty snack. Or an otter grabbing a clam and then finding a rock to crack it open. Basically, it's the whole getting a tool and then doing something with it thing. And otters are known to be remarkably inventive when it comes to active tool use. They've been observed using one rock to smash another rock to get at the tasty morsel inside. They'll use sticks to fish for insects. And if they don't have a sponge, they will fashion a makeshift one out of a bunch of seagrasses or kelp. They'll also use these clever engineering skills to solve problems. Like when a crab pot was blocking their access to food. Otters were observed using rocks to break open the pot and get at the tasty crab inside. Basically, anything to get that sweet, sweet crab meat. And these playful engineers aren't done yet. They've also been observed making daisy chains, basically stringing flowers together in a line. Scientists aren't sure what this behavior means, but they speculate that it might be a way to attract a mate or communicate with other otters. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons that otters are considered to be intelligent animals. They use tools, they solve problems, and they string flowers together. For goodness sake, it's hard to argue that they aren't little scientist heroes. Speaking of which, and I'll see you next time.